Or becoming key person, help us high. By the way, we had a great holiday. It's great to be back and standing here to share God's message with you. Well, you would still remember the concept of key person that I talked about on Sunday, 19th of June. That's a few just weeks ago. If I quickly summarize my message, say according to this psychologist William Glaser, his choice theory, we have 5 basic needs. They are survival, love and belonging, power, freedom, and fun. And love and belonging are one of the basic and the most important human needs which can be fulfilled by having strong interpersonal relationship. And in order to have that interpersonal relationship, we need this concept, key person. If you want to satisfy your needs of love and belonging appropriately, you need to have at least 15 to 20 key persons in your life. So you would agree that we need more key persons in our lives to extend God's kingdom through this relationship. To have more key persons, we would need to be kind. We need to be nice to others. We would need to care for them. We need to serve them. We would need to love them. But helping others and giving something generously to someone, it does good not only for them, but it does good for us as well. Giving pushes aside those negative emotions such as rage, envy. Those emotions clearly contribute self-induced illnesses, psychological, physical illnesses. And this concept, Help Us High, introduced it in 1988. That's the theme that I wanted to focus on today. Well, full 50% of helpers, they report feeling high when they help others, while 43% of helpers felt stronger and felt more energetic. Astonishing 13%, even they experience the fewer. They have less pains, less aches, and it is also believed that giving protects overall health twice as much as the aspirin, the medicine protects against heart disease, twice. So whenever someone does something for another, whether that's small thing like offering elderly people, carrying grocery, or donating money to one in need, that act of kindness stimulate the releases of these hormone, endorphin and serotonin, those in our brain's reward centers, resulting in this core concept, help us high. We feel higher as we do that. Dr. Stephen Post, he writes this book called Why Good Things Happen to Good People, and he talks about this help us high in different perspective in this book, and I talk about this book once at our church council meeting. Stephen starts in this book describing his meeting with John Templeton, Sir John Templeton. He is legendary in the investing world for creating one of the most successful funds for the last century. His annual Templeton Prize, it offers about 1.5 million a year, and this prize has been awarded to people like Mother Teresa or Desmond Tutu, you may know, Archbishop of South Africa. And this author, Stephen, was asked by Sir Templeton that he establish first-class scientific institution, new institute to study the impact of love and giving on lives. Department studying about love, that's quite a new idea, and you may find a bit strange. So in 2001, the Institute for Research on Unlimited Love, this department was founded at this Case Western Reserve University, and this book I talked about that was the product from his research on this new department. He's suggesting even simple act of praying for others reduces harmful impact of health difficulties of old people for those who are praying. So if you pray, you can reduce the harmful the health issues. Other research found for the people over 65 or more, volunteer work substantially reduces symptoms of depression. And according to some study, individuals over 65 who volunteer are significantly less likely to die over next 8 years. So if you volunteer, you may have those 8 years longer lives than those who do no volunteer work. Research on 2005 shows nurturing may feel good because it is rewarded by sharp increase of dopamine. This hormone dopamine is chemical linked to craving, pleasure, reward. Something giving you craving, pleasure, and reward. So if you do something, that hormone goes up. And study found that our most common genetic subtype of this dopamine is significantly linked to generous giving behavior. So science recognized this as a helper's high. And in this book, he included much different research on giving and helping others. This ABC television show called Making Australia Happy, it was screened in 2010. So some of you might remember watching these series on ABC. Making Australia Happy features 8 volunteers, those people you see there, 8 people who wants to become happier. They are all from one of the Australia's our most miserable cities in that time. This city, suburb Merrickville, they all lived there. They represented ranges of ages, backgrounds, and life circumstances, but they share the desire to get happy. These 8 unhappy people offer themselves up to the science. During this time, their brains were scanned, their lives examined. There's some regular checkup, their blood tested. And they were guided 3 experts, including this psychologist, Dr. Grant, and this group was giving number of tools to increase happiness over an 8-week period. 8 people for 8 weeks, there was experiment. Dr. Anthony Grant was one of these experts in that 8-week series, and he wrote this book called 8 Steps to the Happiness. And this book, he based on this experiment, Making Australia Happy. You may see on top of that title there. And he even in that picture, the one that in the down, he is there with 8 participants. He is recognized globally as the key pioneer of coaching psychology. There's new psychology called coaching, and he is founder of the world's first coaching psychology unit at Sydney University. In this book, Dr. Grant records details on how 8 participants, how these people experience their changes to be happier. For example, they one day went to the Exodus Foundation. We know that Exodus Foundation by Bill Cruz in Ashfield. And some of them participate helping in the kitchen, while others like on the table. Some of them initially quite anxious about interacting with so many new people there. But they were extremely grateful for that experience after that. After volunteering Exodus Foundation, Dr. Grant took samples of everybody's sample before and after the volunteering session. And there was an amazing boost, about 35%. 35% of particular part they checked, which protect body from the common illnesses like cold and flus. And it was significant results after just 2 hours of volunteer. Random act of kindness is selfless act performed by a person wishing to either assist or cheer up an individual. To introduce this notion of random acts of kindness, Dr. Grant gave everybody $20 participant and asked them to use it for someone else in the main shopping center in the Merrickville. At first, some of them found it confronting when his offer to push the heavy trolleys were rejected. He then chose an older man give money to a coffee and cake, and they ended up having long conversation with him. One participant decided to buy a bunch of flowers with that $20 money to give one of the women in the mall. And this participant said, this woman in her 70s really appreciated. She was hugging. She was kissing me. It was most emotional experience and it made my day feel fantastic. Another participant bought a wrapped chocolates and he offered a chocolate to shoppers as people wait for the checkouts. And he said, response I got from people were fantastic. It gave me a lot of confidence in humankind. Participant progress. Their progress was tracked weekly using series of tests, both physical and psychological. And did they get happier? Do you think they get happier? Yes, they did. People's cortisol is body's main stress hormone. That levels when way down across the group, and the brain scan shows positive results as well. Then what does Bible talk about this giving, helping others? This morning's Matthew passage, the reading that Bill read for us, teaches us that we should love the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind, and love our neighbor as ourselves. And this passage clearly sums up our attitude towards God and neighbor. Paul says in Acts 22:35 that it is more blessed to give than to receive. Jesus says in Matthew 10 that if anyone gives even cup of cold water to one of those little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward. The Samaritan stories in Luke 10 also challenges us how we practice giving and love, and how we define who is my neighbor, and how we define who is my key person. The Bible has this consistent message of helping neighbors and others. So it seems clear that becoming key person to new others, it is not only good for us, it's good for them, but also it's good for us. It is about, and that is all about, this concept, help us high. Bible continues to challenge us with same message of welcoming others, welcoming unknown. So what are your responses? What might be your responses? We don't have to look too far. There's a group like Dish at St. John's. There are, of course, program in our church. We got Friday Kids program. We always need more people to come and be there and run with kids. Turramurra United Church, we want to grow in numbers. Numerically, we want to grow. We want to grow as a disciples, in this discipleship, as we become better disciples of God. We want to grow to give positive impact and influence to the community around us, and we want to grow in relationship as we become key person to new people. So may God bless us as we practice this love, Let's practice this service. As John mentioned in his kids talk, there is no talent, there's no service without corresponding service you do. If you have a gift, that needs to be used. If you have a talent, some service needs to be followed. And think about Help Us High. It's not just for them, it is benefit for us as well. So may God bless that we continue to exercise our gift to share God's love and care for the world and the people around us.